All right. Well, I'm Mara Novak, and first I want to just say welcome to all of our NJ 11th for Change members and to the candidates who are joining us, and also to some special guests. We're really so glad you could join us this evening. I'm Mara Novak. I'm the co-executive director of NJ 11th for Change, and I'm joined by Leslie Bockel, the other co-executive director, and Stacy Abenstein, our field director. NJ 11th for Change is a 501c4. We're an unaffiliated organization dedicated to advocating for all the people of NJ 11 of the NJ 11th congressional district. We foster an engaged and informed community with the power to shape our political representation so it is transparent, responsive, and accountable, and so that it reflects the values of fairness, compassion, inclusivity, and a decent quality of life for everyone who lives in the 11th. As you may know from in our history, we started off in 2017 as just a group of concerned voters and citizens and members of the 11th. And we had quite a history. We wound up convincing Rodney Frelinghuysen to retire. We then helped Mikey Sherrill win election to Congress. And now we have members who, and then as an activist organization, we have continued to just work within the grassroots. Many of our members are now elected officials themselves or are running for office. So it's very exciting to be a part of this incredible organization. We thank all of the candidates who submitted really thoughtful and detailed questionnaires. And we appreciate our endorsement committee, who are our most active supporters, and they read and considered all of them and then cast their votes. One thing to note, and you'll notice this, is that while we as a group are unaffiliated, our members wound up choosing Democratic candidates across the board this time to endorse because they best represented our values. And so we are proud to announce NJ 11 for Change's endorsements for the 2021 general election. And now I'm going to turn it over to Leslie.
Thanks, Mara. So let's start at the top of the ticket, the race for governor. We're so pleased to offer our endorsement to our incumbent governor, Phil Murphy, along with his running mate, Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver. I can't overstate how much NJ 11th for Change members support this team. Daily COVID updates in 2020 built quite the adoring fan base, whether that's despite or because of Governor Murphy's dad jokes, we don't know. But our members appreciated the governor's forthrightness and attention to detail, his commitment to doing what's necessary, even if it's not popular, and his ability to share the stage with people, especially women, who brought specialized expertise into the decision-making process, because we know that that's crucial to making smart decisions, especially in a crisis. A few months ago, we ran an informal Facebook poll asking our members, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important did they think it was that we work to re-elect Governor Murphy in 2021? And there was an outpouring of enthusiasm. It was 10, 10, 10, 10, 11, infinity. So it came as no surprise that over 99% of our contributing active members voted for endorsement. And I'll hand back to Mara.
Yes. So why do we love Governor Murphy and Lieutenant Governor Oliver? There's a lot of reasons, and I know that some of our special guests will talk a little bit more about that, but one of them is his COVID response. And I personally was watching the COVID press conferences pretty much every day. And I was just so impressed with the level of expertise with the group that he was able to put together. So that was first. And the fact that our vaccination rates right now are one of the highest in the nation. So I feel like that just speaks to their ability to respond to a crisis that none of us could anticipate. As a person who has been waiting for this for years, finally enacting a millionaire's tax was just huge. Raising the minimum wage, huge. Full pension payments, credit upgrades instead of downgrades. I mean, that's just, especially after the Christie administration, and that's gigantic. The commitment to clean energy, to becoming a leader in offshore wind is especially exciting. Voting rights, we wound up in a pandemic having the highest turnout election in history. And the commitment by the governor and the lieutenant governor to continue to make voting easier and more secure, and having more voting rights, online voter registration, giving voting rights to 80,000 individuals on probation or parole. That's just astounding. Ending prison gerrymandering. This year, we're going to have 9 days of in-person voting, and we've expanded vote by mail. So all of those things are just, as a group that really just wants to empower voters, super impressive and so important. Gun safety, tons of our members are also members of Moms Demand, and the governor has been a fantastic partner supporting that. The maternal health initiatives led by Tammy Murphy have been incredible, and especially a cause dear to my heart, finally funding Planned Parenthood again and continuing to increase access to reproductive rights and supporting the Reproductive Freedom Act. They're all super important to us. So and that's just touching the surface of the things that we care about and that our members care about and that they've told us about. And then in contrast, Stacy has a few things to say.
I get to be the bad guy. I love being the bad guy. There are way too many things wrong with the governor's opponent to list them all. But here are some highlights that I want to remind us why we need to kill ourselves to have the governor reelected. So Chitterelli believes that LGBTQ education means teaching sixth graders about sodomy. Personally, I would start with not all families have a mommy and daddy. Some families have two mommies or two daddies, but what do I know? He wants to take away a woman's right to make a decision about her own health and body. He plans on defunding Planned Parenthood as well. Instead of vaccinations, he wants to create an ombudsman for parents' rights to stand up against, with the anti-vaxxers instead. We must make sure that Governor Murphy gets a second term, because personally, I don't want to go back to the 1950s.
Totally agree. So
we're very fortunate to have some visitors from the Murphy Oliver campaign with us today. So I'd like to introduce Mollie Binotto and Hetty Rosenstein, who are here to talk with us today about the campaign and highlights and what we can do to be helpful. Mollie, start with you.
Yeah, it'd be great. Well, first and foremost, Leslie, Mara, Stacy, thank you so much for your support. Speaking on behalf of the governor, he's honored to receive this endorsement. This was important to him. He's sorry I can't be here with you guys tonight. We turned in the questionnaire and we were like, oh, it's happening already. So I apologize, we had a full schedule, but I'm excited to be back because to me, this is home. This group, the work that you all do, who you all are as people, we've been through a lot together, I think. In order to change New Jersey and our neck of the woods, I'm back in the 11th myself and living here and happily so, this time in Morris, Sussex County. But I think I think you all covered so much of what he's accomplished. And I think even with COVID-19, as his leadership is second to none in the country. And this was something that was noticed in when I was with Emily's list last cycle. It's something I heard all the time, right? He's a leader and he is getting New Jersey through this. And they're making the tough decisions, smart decisions to keep people safe. And as I checked on family and friends across New Jersey, that was often a refrain. And so I think the governor is an incredible leader in this crisis, in this time of crisis. And there's so much stuff, even from having like no PPE to having now a stockpile for the future. The things that he's working on is critically important. And, we're not going back. And I think the governor says all the time, stronger, fairer, and now forward. And what does that mean? We're going to continue to do the work he's been doing all along, doubling down on making sure healthcare is affordable, making sure that we're expanding access to education, universal pre-K, things of that nature that he's thinking through. So we are going to move forward, and we're doing that together. And that's by finishing the work that we started. More on the democracy reforms, we all know and care about. So the early vote expansion this year is going to be a very, very big part of our campaign, and we're excited to get started. Getting people access to the polls is paramount. And I think your mission, NJ11's mission, has always been at the heart of what we want government to do, which is to be responsive, to be accountable, and to give people an opportunity to meet their leaders where they are and make sure those leaders hear from them. And that is what Governor Murphy wants to do. And so we're so honored to have this endorsement, and I'm especially honored to be here with you guys tonight. I'm excited. I wish we were in person, like a little bit.
Someday.
You all in real time. And I'm going to turn it over to Hetty, who can say more about our opponent and the things that he's gotten done, but you covered that all so nicely. But at the end, I think what I want to say is two more things, and I'll turn it over to Hetty, but we can't take this for granted. When I was asked to come on board to lead this fight, for the governor, and when he asked me to come do this, I thought long and hard about it, because I have to tell you, Reproductive Freedom Act is a big deal to me too. I was working for a premier women's organization that focuses on choice and women candidates, and I just got done with Mikey, so I think you all know where my heart is. And so why choose Governor Murphy? Why make that decision? And I have to tell you, it's because of his record. I want to see more progressive leaders who are pragmatic and practical, but getting things done for people across the country. And he is a leader who's doing that. And I know that you can't take things for granted. I know that if you put the work in, you get the results that you want. And we can't go backwards, not in New Jersey and not anywhere. And given that what we've just been through for the last 4 years, which many of us are well aware, that it starts here, that this is going to be the first race in the 2022 elections, and people are looking at New Jersey and they're going to say, well, can we keep what we gained? Can we keep Mikey? Can we keep Tom Malinowski? Can we do these things? And it's going to start with Governor Murphy, and he's the leader we need for this moment, for all of the policy reasons that we discussed, all of the reasons why Jack Ciattarelli is going to be wrong and take us backwards. But more importantly, we know what's at stake if we go back. And so we have a lot of work to do. I'm excited to do it together. I'm hoping I get out and do some doors in the 11th with all of you. I know you're a force to be reckoned with when we put our minds to it. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Hetty to add anything else, but thank you so much. And I'm ready to get to work.
Yay.
Sounds
Thanks,
great.
Molly.
So I got the pleasure of really meeting Molly. I did meet her on Mikey's campaign, but really getting to know Molly during this campaign. And it is a stunning experience. And what I want to say tonight, and I do think most things were said, is this campaign is a reflection of what this governor is. And in two areas. One, that people like me are working for this campaign. And I have been a progressive person and challenged the establishment for 40 years. And I'm not only welcome in this campaign, but people are interested in what I have to say. And we work together to try to push forward the governor's values. And it's a real pleasure and an honor to be able to do it. The other part of this campaign is I've never seen a campaign like this. I've never seen that it's a majority women. It's a majority of people who are not white. It's LGBTQ people on this campaign. It's people who are differently abled on this campaign. It's people who don't have English as their first language on this campaign. And it is truly an extraordinary experience to be part of. And I think it says a lot. And the other thing that's about this campaign is it's about building something that we keep, that doesn't disappear the day after the election. And of course, you understand that because you really did that. I was a very skeptical person, by the way, who said, oh, don't tell me that they're going to, not have a Frelinghuysen in office for the first time since the Revolutionary War. I don't believe it. but you of course did it and you kept it. And that is part of what we're trying to do, and build these connections all across the state and roll them right into those midterms so that we keep Mikey Sherrill, we keep Andy Kim, we keep Tom Malinowski, and we challenge Jeff Van Drew and Chris Smith. So it's really been a pleasure. There is so much that we can do together. The campaign is robust and it has a lot of resources in terms of being able to connect and do all the things that you do so well. And I'm really looking forward to doing that with you.
Thanks so much, Hetty.
Thank you so much to both Hetty and Molly for coming by. We really appreciate your support, and we're looking forward to working more with you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so let's see. So now we're going to talk about our next, we're going to go down the list and start to talk about some of our other endorsees, and we're pretty excited about all of them. The first is, if anyone knows me, they know that I'm obsessed with turning Morris blue. And in fact, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll see that I talk about Bloris all the time. And we did a great job last year in terms of the top of the ticket. It's Joe Biden and Harris won Morris. Cory Booker won Morris. Mikey Sherrill won Morris. That's never happened that we've had that trifecta winning in Morris County. So that was exciting, but we didn't push that down the ballot. We didn't get county, we didn't get enough county, we didn't get county seats. We didn't get enough municipal seats. So we need to keep that momentum going. And so I'm very excited to announce our endorsement for the Morris County Commissioner candidates, because we are all in on them helping us make Bloris a reality. So I'm TC McCourt, AJ Oliver, and Dina Mikulka are our candidates. We've endorsed them. I think TC and AJ are here, so I would love it if they wanted to speak for a second. So if you guys can unmute yourselves. I don't think Dina is here. Am I right?
Correct.
Okay, so AJ and TC, take it away.
Well, thank you so much, Mara and Leslie. I'm here on behalf of our Stronger Mars team, and first, thank you so much for the endorsement and support. You know, I've long admired your organization, and you know, you guys don't just talk about change, and you know, you're not just for change, but you put change into reality, right? Through your education and most of all through your actions. So. Like you said, you know, Morris County is not just going to be blue one day, but it's turning blue right now. And what you talk about, you know, in your mission statement for a responsive and accountable and inclusive government are some of the same things that we're enacting right now. You know, and we think that this can happen, and it's going to happen. And we have a team of incredible professionals with me and TC and Dina. We have a really robust platform that we're rolling out, and we're talking about the 3 E's, from the economy to education and the environment. And you know, I was really impressed with the questions that you had for the endorsement, and we are going to make it a reality. You know, right now in Morris County, I was thinking about this metaphor today, that we really have kind of a tale of 2 cities. Right. So the current commissioners are going to say, oh, things are hunky-dory, everything's great. And Morris County really is a great place to live and to work. But there's so much left out when you have just, well, really centuries of just one party rule, where there's no question, where there's no accountability. So we're in the process of putting that change into effect. We really want you to join our effort for a stronger Morris. And so please go to our website, strongermorris.com. And we really look forward to being on the campaign trail with you. And, you know, I'm so impressed with the ticket we have from governor down to town council. So thank you again for your endorsement. And yeah, we look forward to it. Let's roll our sleeves up and get to work.
Thank you so much, AJ. That's very inspiring.
Thank you.
Leslie, you're muted. Are you talking? Can you unmute yourself?
It's me. It's my
Oh,
my
it's
fault.
sorry, Dave.
Sorry. No, I opened up the spreadsheet and it wouldn't let me unmute. So I'm so technically savvy. So I am here to talk about the Passaic commissioners. We are very, very, very lucky to have them running again for the fourth or third time, depending on the candidate. And there were some really great things that they had to say. And what stood out to me was when asked about issues concerning immigrant communities, the candidates wrote, barriers like language, immigration status, and lack of social capital make it difficult for some members of these communities to learn about, understand, and access county services. We take the obligation to serve all these communities seriously, and the candidates on this ticket have made particular efforts to close gaps like language and geography, and can stand between residents and the government services they are entitled to receive. That has included, among the other things, adopting New Jersey's first county level fair and welcoming policy to affirm that the county won't ask for information about legal immigration status unless it's required, providing outreach materials for Passaic County Board of Social Services, Census 2020 and COVID relief, including eviction prevention in Spanish, Arabic, Bengali, and I don't even know how to pronounce this language, Gujarati? I don't know. Anyway, as well as English. Working with community partners, including houses of worship, advocacy organizations, ethnic media, and direct services provide pathways for these people to succeed. So you know, they are a really impressive group. They are a group that really is experienced and really knows what has to get done in Passaic County and in New Jersey. So I would love to invite them to speak. Is John here? I think John was here, wasn't he? Is John here? She's muted. We have muting problems today. Would any of the Passaic, okay, I'm sorry.
Stacy, Sandy Lazara, Assad Akhtar, and John Bartlett are all at the same event tonight, and they're going to try and call in. I notified them that we were up to them, but they have to try themselves free. When they become available, we can slate them in. We'll keep an eye on them signing in to the Zoom, and then we'll be able to get there. But John Bartlett running and Assad and Sandy, we'll really look forward to hearing from them. It could be in, I don't know exactly where they are. It might be a madhouse. We'll have to see.
Great, terrific.
So next up are the county commissioner candidates that we're endorsing for Sussex County. Now there's a lot of work to be done in Sussex County, New Jersey. Sussex is MAGA country. Trump won handily there, and minorities and allies are often made to feel distinctly unwelcome, if not downright threatened. So our victories in Sussex are going to be hard won, and it's likely going to take years of incremental buildup. And that's why we have so much admiration for Sussex County Commissioner candidates Scott Paul and Mike Vrabel. These two Democratic candidates have a heavy lift, and we're proud to endorse them. I'd like to share with you something that Mike Vrabel shared with our endorsement committee. This is what he wrote to give us a sense of what they're up against. The latest census information shows that Sussex County is below the New Jersey state average in diversity demographically, with 93% white, 2.7% Black, 2% Asian, and 2% Hispanic. There are complicated and historical reasons for this lack of diversity, such as real estate redlining and racist group activity, such as KKK rallies at the German American Bund camp in Andover. The past is sometimes too close to prologue here. After moving here in 1996, after my service in the U.S. Air Force, hang on, sorry, notes confusing. After moving here in 1996, after my service in the U.S. Air Force, I remember seeing Confederate flags flying more often in Sussex than I observed in my time stationed at Pope Air Force Base, North Carolina. Today, we have a 24th District State Assemblyman, Parker Space, who openly flouts his affinity for the Confederacy with his Confederate flag tattoo and photo ops with the Confederate flag. This does not help to foster a welcoming environment to minorities, to say the least. While I believe there is truth to the adage that you can't legislate hate out of someone's heart, as a community leader, it's important to speak out against hate and lead by example. Of this statement from Mike's running mate, Scott Paul, also landed heavily with us. He said, "The complete disregard for minority communities in my county is the reason I decided to run for commissioner. As a longtime Black resident of Sussex County, I've been aware of the issues here since I was a child. The prejudices, microaggressions, profiling, etc., are all an ingrained part of the living experience of Black, Indigenous, and people of color here. This county has a dark history of racism, and there has yet to be a reckoning, and that makes it very unsafe. A foremost reason for this is the apathy and opposition shown by our current representatives regarding social justice. Last summer, as protests for social justice took the world by storm, our commissioners did not support any of the numerous rallies that took place right in the county. I know this because I was an organizer, an MC for the protests held in Newton, Andover, Sparta, and Byram. A few commissioners attended one vigil but stood across the street with those opposed to the social justice movement. This disregard for minority communities will continue the disparities we see in education, income, medical care, and quality of life for Black, Indigenous, and people of color in Sussex County. This awareness, that's the end of Scott Paul's quote. But this kind of sensitivity to all the people in a county is a big part of why we are so proud to endorse these candidates for Sussex County commissioners. So thank you. And they are, I don't believe are here tonight, but if they happen to be and want to raise a hand and tag in, I'd be happy to hear from them. So if not, then we're ready to move on to the legislative districts. Mara, I think you're muted.
Passaic commissioners are here though, so we can, because Passaic County, so if you guys want to mute, we introduced you already, so now it's your turn to talk.
I said nice things. I said nice things about you.
You'll have to watch the video later.
Can you guys hear us? Can you hear us?
Yes.
We're at the Brownstone in Patterson. If you haven't been here, you should be. We're just here at an event for the Hawthorne Dems, and but we all wanted to just call in and say thank you for the endorsement. Very proud to have NJ11 for Change. It's fantastic that you guys have branched out statewide, and you've always been in Passaic County, but now we're proud to officially be endorsed, and we're grateful for the grassroots support. So I'm going to hand it off. If you don't know me, I'm Assad Akhtar, running for my second full term on the Board of County Commissioners, and I'm going to hand it off to John Bartlett here.
All right. Hi, everybody. I just wanted to say thank you. As Assad said, we're here at the Brownstone because it's Passaic County politics, and this is where we live.
That's true.
But in all seriousness, I've been with you guys since the Where's Rodney town meeting in Little Falls in February of 2017, which I had the privilege of being part of, and through to the congressional debate that November and everything else since then, working with you guys as recently as a couple months ago, talking about voting and how it works. What you're doing in keeping people active and focused, and not just and taking all that energy that we had when Rodney Frulinghuisen was in Congress and keeping it moving for tickets like ours, for people like Christine Clark and her ticket in the 26 in West Milford, where we're going to be campaigning with her, and all the tickets in some challenging districts, but ones where we proved in 2018 with Mikey Sherrill can be won. We're going to keep on doing that. It's my privilege to have your endorsement, and I'm very, very grateful. And Sandy?
Thanks, everybody. I'm so happy to meet you all. When I look at your questions and I look at your webpage, I know that we are on the same page. I look forward to working with you and advocating for our districts most vulnerable, because they need us to advocate for them. And it comes from a grassroots organization. And to work with you and my colleagues here on the ticket, it's just like, it just works. It works for all of us. Christine, you know that our residents are the most important thing to us, and we have to do what's right for them. And so I look forward to working with all of you and making sure that we can meet the needs of all our constituents. And thank you so much for endorsing us. We really appreciate that.
Our pleasure. Thank you for being here tonight and for representing people in our community so well.
Thank you.
And for taking a moment out of your event at the Brownstone. Wish we were there. Wish we were there with you. That would be fun. We could all fit in there.
Good to be back. It
Yeah.
really is.
So nice.
I think we've seen so many examples of why government matters over the last year and a half, particularly at these levels, at all levels, and the way that it takes the advocacy of Mikey Sherrill and Bill Pascrell and Cory Booker and Bob Menendez at the federal level to bring us the resources that we're able to then, allocate and make sure we do testing and vaccines and everything else. Sandy and I are going to be on Facebook Live tomorrow talking about eviction prevention and how we've got this CARES Act funding to make sure people don't lose their homes after having lost their jobs. It's really, the last 2 years have been such an example of why government matters. And I know folks at NJ11 get that, and I appreciate it.
Well, thanks so much for being here tonight, and have fun at the Brownstone. And we look forward to seeing pictures, hopefully.
Oh, good. You will.
All right.
Behave yourself.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all so
It's
much.
good seeing everyone.
See everybody soon.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
So now we're going to start going through our endorsements for the legislative districts. There are 10 legislative districts in NJ11, which is one of our voters said 10. That's insane. So, but it's true. There are also 54 municipalities. So there are a lot of voices that need to be heard in the district, and we try to make sure, and our membership covers all of the towns and all of the counties and all of the LDs. So we're going to start with LD 21, and I believe all of the members of all the endorsed candidates are here. So I'm excited to introduce them. Joe Signorello, Elizabeth Granner, and Anjali Merota are all here. We loved what they had to say in their questionnaire. I'm just going to read, we love that their commitment to green infrastructure, which is something that is near and dear to a lot of our hearts, to better and fairer elections, to affordable housing, and their commitment to public transit and to better infrastructure are all things that are very important to everyone in the district. So I'm not going to talk at all more about it because I'd rather hear from them. So I'm throwing it over to you, and you can all decide who wants to talk first.
Does Anjali or Liz, one of you guys go first? I always talk first.
Anjali, you go first. You should say a little bit about your bio, because also you're all incredibly impressive. But
thank you so much to NJ11. I really wanted this endorsement, I'll be honest, because I feel like this is where I came from. I'm a grassroots activist. For the last 2 years, a little bit more than 2 years, I've been leading the National Organization for Women for New Jersey. But this is what I do, everything that I've heard on this call today, when you talk about the achievements that we have seen under Governor Murphy, especially the funding for Planned Parenthood, I put in the chat, we need to pass the Reproductive Freedom Act. All of those things are things that we have worked on at now. I'm really proud of the group that I work with every day. I know that NJ11 is also part of a lot of the coalitions that I get to work with. So all of the issues on that questionnaire, honestly, that was really easy because, those are things that I get to work on every day. I consider myself very lucky for that. And I'm really, really honored to have this endorsement.
thank you. Elizabeth, you want to go next?
Sure. I don't know if there's anything really that I can add that, first of all, I need to echo Anjali's sentiments. It is an honor to have received this endorsement. I read about you. I've been following you for quite some time. I just, I read your stuff and I'm like, I feel this is where I belong. So I really think that like our platform, we're here to support New Jersey's families. So we're going to improve access to and the quality of childcare and elder care. We want universal pre-K. We want to bring all these great things to the schools. We want to fix our infrastructure. And, as good Democrats, we understand that the definition of infrastructure is not limited to potholes. So again, it is an honor to be with you guys tonight. It is an honor to have received your endorsement. And I look forward to moving forward together and turning our district blue.
And Joe, you're next.
I just want to say, first off, I love Bloris. That's awesome. We're
Boris.
going to carry that over to our other counties.
Totally.
Passaic County, Blunion.
I mean, London, like we're very obsessed with it.
It
Just
works.
anyone who talks to me will know.
So I'm going to be, well, it's getting recorded, but whatever. I'm just going to say it anyway. First off, this is an honor for me because in my trading cards of, Congress people, like Mikey Sherrill's my favorite one, so I'm just like a real fan of what you guys have done there. And, the gift I think that you guys have given to Washington, D.C. in Congresswoman Sherrill. So this is really near and dear to my heart. But, I just really want to say of the 10, it's we only have a couple Morris County towns, but they are just as important as the every other bit of the district. And we're going to fight for every bit of that district. And quite frankly, we think this is more winnable because of the great organizers you guys have over there in Morris County. So once again, I'm really honored to be here. You have the commitment that we're going to work our butts off for you. And the last thing I want to say is this is easy for me because I'm just surrounded by talented people on the ticket, right? So it's been a real honor for me to be have Phil Murphy at the top and Anjali and Liz on with me for the ledge side. I've learned so much from them. And part of why I think this is so important, and not just the congressional races are so important, and why you guys getting involved in these local ledge races is key, is because we still have a lot of progressive policies that we need to pass here in New Jersey, right? We need to make sure that we're taking care of our home base. And yeah, I'm just happy to hopefully be a small part of that next year. So I'm thrilled, and I'm hoping to get you guys a win.
Yay.
Thank you so much, Joe, Elizabeth, and Anjali. So now we are going to talk about our LD 24. We do have one candidate that we're endorsing for Assembly, Scott Fadden, who was unable to attend, but I will nonetheless speak about him. We're proud to endorse Scott, who is a proud union member and serves on his local union's executive board. Hetty, we're all about the union. We want to remind everybody he's running against Parker Space, so that should be enough to get everybody on his side. And I especially really loved Scott's no-nonsense answer about the 2020 election. Trump lost, period. We have some of the strongest and fairest election laws in the country, thanks to Governor Murphy. These laws need to be defended at all costs to avoid further erosion of our democracy. Oh, hell yes. So that alone is enough. That commitment to doing the right thing, that really makes me excited about him. Thanks to Scott Fadden, but unfortunately he was unable to attend, so he won't be speaking. And we will go on to 26.
Oh, 25 actually.
Oh, did we? Oh, I missed it. My spreadsheet's doing bizarre things.
Mine too. So Legislative District 25, our candidates that we're really happy to endorse are Jeffrey Grazel for State Senate, Lauren Barnett for State Assembly, and Patricia Alvarez for State Assembly as well. We appreciate the experience and the perspective of this ticket. As they wrote to our endorsement committee, quote, as current and former local electeds, we know firsthand what local municipalities need from our state government and can act as a bridge between our towns and Trenton to ensure that our communities are getting the help that they truly need. We're also impressed by their interest in building our green jobs and tech jobs base, their understanding that affordable housing needs to be incorporated into the fabric of our communities, their commitment to gun safety and to expanding voting access. And one thing is for sure, we can't rely on their opponents to support our values on any of these issues. Anthony Bucco, Brian Bergen, and Aura Dunn are hardcore conservatives, and we need to get them gone. So I'd like to pass the microphone to our candidates. Jeff, I just saw you there. Do you want to lead in?
Sure, I'd love to kick it off. I am so proud to get the endorsement from this organization. It's an you started very close to home in Morristown. Drove by Rodney Frelinghuysen's office all the time and saw everybody out there on Fridays. But this organization has done an amazing job of changing the dynamics on the ground. The voter outreach that you've done, the voter education, and particularly having everybody understand how important their vote means, right? You know, your vote matters. Elections have consequences. And very happy to be on the ticket with Mikey back in 2018 and be part of that wave to elect me as the first Democratic mayor in Morris Township. And just a little bit about my background, thanks. And so it gets back to, I don't know, Dolores Township, I guess we could say now. You know, my background as an engineer, and I took the job and used my engineering perspective to, you know, look at the problems in my community, propose solutions that I like to say are win-win for everybody. And being on the ground as mayor in Morris Township and the interactions I have with Trenton, I can see how there's a need to engineer many processes that happen between Trenton and the local municipalities across the entire state of New Jersey, not just mine. I see it in a lot of places. So I'm very much looking forward to taking that on and applying my engineering skills to improving municipalities and the interaction with Trenton across the state of New Jersey. We have a great team of elected officials. Awesome that we have such a strong ticket. We're gonna run hard, and we have such a great chance to take it this year. So I really encourage everybody to support this ticket in LD 25. Two amazing running mates in Lauren Barnett and Patty Veras. And I'll let them talk more about the specifics of the campaign. But I do want to leave everybody with one thought, and it's something that Mollie Binotto brought up, that we can't take for granted that Mikey's going to win next year. We can't take for granted that Tom Malinowski's tougher race is going to win next year. The race in LD 25 is a proxy election for what's going to come next year. If we can have a strong showing with our ticket in this district, which is evenly split between Mikey and Tom, it'll send a message to the other side that, you know, we're for real here in Morris, and we're going to put up a very strong challenge up and down the ballot. And it'll make the other side, I think, shy away from maybe making a stronger challenge against Mikey and Tom next year. So I hope everybody will invest their time, invest your money in LD 25 if you can. And we look forward to really rolling up our sleeves, as AJ Oliver said, and getting to work with everybody up and down our ballot. Thanks so much again for your endorsement. And I'll turn it over to Lauren.
Hi, can everyone hear me? Oh, good. I had audio troubles on my last Zoom call, so I'm glad that's resolved. So I'm Lauren Barnett. Jeff, great intro. I'm running for state assembly in LD 25. I've been part of NJ 11th for Change since the very early days of organizing in churches and meeting on Fridays, and I'm incredibly proud to have your endorsement. I was elected to my local town council in 2016, and I was re-elected in 2020, just last year, with a record number of votes. I've served 2 terms as the mayor of Mountain Lakes, and I'm currently serving as deputy mayor. I decided to step up and run for assembly this year with the encouragement of people I respect tremendously, like Mikey Sherrill. That was a very influential ask. So I can bring my local elected experience to Trenton. And really, for me, my entire focus has been public service. What motivates me is getting things done for the people in my community. And I'd like to take that to the next level and do that for all the people of New Jersey. I have a very strong track record to support that and have gotten a lot of great things done locally. I also think we ignore local and state races at our peril. We need to step up and support these races. And finally, I want to say, I know I'm building on the good work, the great work of the candidates before us, like Darcy Drager, Lisa Bomani, Rapunde Mehta, and this year is the year to flip these seats. So thank you again, and I look forward to working with everyone.
Our pleasure. Thanks so much, Lauren. And don't believe we have Patricia Veras here. Is that correct? Last call. Okay, then I'll ask Stacy to talk with us about LD 26.
So sorry for jumping the gun, but I must just be that excited. So LD 26, my good friend Christine Clark, as running for state senate, as well as Pam Fadden and Melissa Brown Flower. So this is exciting. I wanted to say that this is a slate of smart, strong women we can get behind. And some of you already know that I worked on Christine's campaign in 2019 as her field director. And I also met Melissa and Pam during, that time as well, because they came out to support Christine. So this is the type of women we're dealing with. I want to start by saying, while Christine Clark is my personal environmental guru, and her answers were right on target with the statewide initiatives, we would all like to see there. So one paragraph in her answers reminded me that all politics is local, even regarding the environment and advocacy thereof. In our district, we have problems. This is what Christine said. We have problems with harmful algal blooms annually now, and issues with state bills that threaten to usurp all the local and county control over forests to implement statewide logging plans under the guise of forest management. At a time when we need our trees right now, and they're helping to protect our climate impacts, loggers with state support in the legislature want to harvest our forests and take inventory of them. I've attended the hearings and appropriately horrified. Yes, sure. I will fight for the exploitation of our national resources and fight for the funding to protect the lakes upon which so many local businesses rely for seasonal tourism. Christine, there is no doubt in my mind that you will be a fierce advocate for us in the Senate on environment and all of the other issues. Would you like to start? And then I will talk about the others.
Sure, love. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all of your help in the first race. Thank you so much to NJ11 for Change for the honor of this endorsement. We'll do the formal and then the friendly because I brought something to show you too. So for those I may not have had the joy to meet yet, which probably isn't too many of you, given that we're live streaming right now. My name is Christine Clark. I am a longtime friend of NJ11 for Change. In fact, most of us met when I was nursing my son, holding up signs calling for a town hall outside the former congressman's office. I am an environmental advocate, a grassroots organizer, and a mother of four, running for state senate to build the job-creating clean energy economy, advance a green recovery from COVID-19, protect clean air and clean water, improve healthcare, and lead with empathy and common decency. We have a fuller bio up on my website at clarkforsenate.com. That's Clark with a B. Do check that out. And if you're able to pitch in, we are a fully grassroots funded campaign at this point and very proud of that. Or if you're able to volunteer, we're rebooting our LD 26 weekends canvases this weekend, which will be supporting all of the people on our ballot up and down. We are friendly and working together with all of them, including my wonderful assembly candidates that you'll hear from in a moment, Pam and Melissa. And we really do appreciate so much all of the work we've done together. In fact, While coming up with the photos for the endorsement announcement on our campaign social media, I had a really good time running back through memory lane, so to speak, with NJ11 for Change, from the postcards that we sent out after the Rachel Maddow episode, where she said, "What will they win next?" To this little wonderful thing. Do you guys remember the letter that was sent to Siley's bank at the time? Calling her a ringleader of this new group that was rising up to demand accountability in government. Well, not too many people know that our artist at the time, Ray, who designed our logo, made these little ringleader buttons. I don't know if you can see this. So I was one of the people that was standing outside, helping to organize everyone coming every week, helping to normalize the fact that we were there, standing there with my double stroller and my 4 kids. That's actually how I met Mikey Sherrill too. We kind of had a moment in the middle of the summer heat where, you know, my daughter's running one way, the baby's over here. And it was kind of like, I see you, mothers of 4. But, you know, we had a lot of good memories out there and really built community. And this is what civic engagement is supposed to be. I'm so excited about the civic engagement bill that just went through the legislature. And I'm so grateful that you mentioned all of the important voting reforms that Governor Murphy enacted during the pandemic. I'll have you know, my opponent, Senator Binotto, voted no against every single one of them. He is a Trump re-election campaign chairman who voted no on condemning the deadly insurrection on the US Capitol on January 6th, and called the resolution itself an attack on my president. So the contrast between my opponent and myself could not be more clear. We are very excited to be in this race. We are excited to work together. So grateful for your friendship, your allyship, and support. You'll hear from the assembly candidates in a moment, but do sign up for LD26 weekends to help us. Do visit clarkforsenate.com. And thank you so much for your support. Congratulations to everyone endorsed.
Good job. Although you stole my next thing, I was going to talk about Pinocchio and that comment.
I mean, don't let me hold you back. Have a good time, you know? There's a lot of content there.
It's all good. I know. It's so absolutely true. All right. So then I'm going to talk about Melissa Brown-Lauer now. And Melissa, while not living in the 11th, is, of course, running on the ticket for LD26. It was her first sentence from her questionnaire that really reminded me how important the basics are. She states that the 3 pillars of Pam and her campaign are the economy, education, and infrastructure. All I have to say to that is well said. So Melissa, would you like to chat us up a little?
Sure thing. Hello, everybody. I'm really, really thrilled to get this endorsement. This was such good news for us yesterday. We worked very hard on the application and talked about it amongst ourselves. LD26 has 8 Morris County towns. And we have, I think, an overlap of 11 towns with NJ11. So we really do have a lot in common. I am the outlier with respect to not being a Morris County or a Bloris County resident. I'm from Passaic County. I live in West Milford. I've been up here since 1993. And I'm a very active community activist in my town. It's a very red town. You know, it's more Republican than Democrat. I ran for town council twice. I've helped run the Democratic Party up here. And I'm on the Economic Development Commission. I'm in my 6th year. We're trying to build up tourism here. And I work shoulder to shoulder with all the Republicans and Libertarians who are up here. I grew up in Warren County, went to high school there. I was born and raised early on in my life in Essex County. So I have a bit of an urban suburban experience, but I also have this very rural experience as well. And I can really relate to people. And my secret formula for success is to just focus on what's at hand, talk about honest, concrete things, and bring out the best in people, and make people feel good about what they're doing, and that we're building synergy, and that we bring that the humanity at hand is the really thing that calls us all to public service. So I'm super excited, and like Christine said, we've got LD26 weekends coming up. We're sharing all the field strategy, and we're going to be canvassing in West Milford. I believe it is August 6th. August 7th, Saturday, August 7th. And I'm really delighted to see the Passaic County commissioners are coming up too. We actually helped circulate the petitions to get on the ballot up here using DocuSign. We were very advanced in our technology. And just really on another note about myself, I really bring a lot of economic experience and insight, as well as technology experience. I am a web designer and developer, as well as a graphic designer and a conceptual writer and many other things like that. So I'm very tuned into what's going on with technology, and I feel like that is probably an ace in the hole as far as keeping out ahead of any aspects of how technology is being used and abused to persuade people. And with that communications background of mine, I feel like I have a real contribution to make towards the betterment of the state. And that as a state, New Jersey absolutely has so much to be proud of, and we are real leaders, showing people the way forward. We've got so much talent here and so much conviction in what the United States is all about. We're one of the 13 original founding colonies, right? We really believe in what we say, and we put our energy and our time into realizing it, making it real. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Before we move on to Pam, I want to remind everybody that State Senator Binotto was Trump's New Jersey campaign manager. And we all know one of the assembly candidates, Jay Weber. So there's a lot of reasons to get out and work for this legislative district. So I'm going to move on to Pam. While Pam's expertise is in education, it was her comment on women that caught my eye. For the state and the economy to fully rebound after the pandemic, women need to be able to afford to return to work. I support legislation to provide tax credits for companies that offer childcare to support working parents. I strongly believe that all women should have access to reproductive health care, birth control, and sex education. If elected, I will support a woman's right to choose, and because the government should not get between women and her doctor when it comes to her pregnancy. Pam, I couldn't have put it better myself. Would you like to speak now?
Yes. So thank you, NJ11 for change. My name is Pamela Fadden, and in case you don't know, I am Scott Fadden's sister-in-law. So it became a family event here running for state assembly. Your endorsement and your support in this race is important to us. I'm running for state assembly because it's time for Trenton to work for LD 26. My focus will be economy, education, infrastructure, and equality. I look forward to working with you all on our LD 26 team to make our constituents' needs a priority as we move forward. And we thank you for your support. And you can reach us at Mel and Pam for ld26.com. And that's also our handle on Facebook and Twitter.
I will add that any candidates who want to put not their fundraising links, but just their links to their website in the chat, that is totally great. So please do that.
So if we're ready to jump into LD 27, as an LD 27 resident myself, I count myself really lucky to be represented by State Senator Richard Cody, Assemblywoman Mila Jacey, and Assemblyman John McKeon. This is just, for me, the easiest endorsement ever. And they've served for an unfathomable combined total of 80 years. Senator Cody started as a legislator in 1974. He's been a legislator since 1974, except for this little gap. I guess he was slacking off from 2004 to 2006 when he served as governor. John McKeon has served in the assembly since 2002, and Mila Jacey has been on board since 2007. And we all know sticking around for a long time doesn't necessarily mean anything that matters. But I don't know if there's a legislative team in the state that has more consistently and reliably stood up for liberal and progressive values, and has also shown willingness to talk directly with constituents about issues and concerns. I remember the last time I was confused about why Assemblyman McKeon had a specific stance on an issue, and I called his office, and I got a call back from him on speakerphone in his car while he was racing from one thing to another. And not only did he spend about 20 minutes talking with me about the issue on the phone, he said, think about it. If you have more questions, this is my cell phone number. Now you've got it. Call me about anything. And I've heard about that kind of experience with this slate from many friends and neighbors. So LD 27 is really lucky to have them. And J11 for Change is glad to endorse the ticket of Cody, JC, and McCann. So they're unable to be here tonight, but we're still super proud to be endorsing them. And I pass back to Stacy to talk about LD 28. Are you muted?
So LD 28, we have State Senator Ronald Rice. And oh my God, what is up with this computer? And Ralph Caputo and Cleopatra Tucker. So they have been serving for a long time. They have been very effective in the state Senate and the Assembly. And we are very proud to endorse them again to continue in their reelection.
Okay. And they're not here tonight, so we're going to keep going. I'm going to
short.
Yes, I'm going to say yes, because you've all been super patient. I'm going to talk really quickly about my LD, the LD 34, the slate of Nia Gill, Tom Giblin, and Brittany Timberlake. Brittany was here earlier, but had to leave because she's got 2 babies and she had to go give them dinner. And we fully support that. But we really were, we were very pleased to endorse them. They have been very active and in defending our progressive values. I've appreciated their commitment to affordable housing, to preventing redlining and foreclosures, to expanding access to healthcare, again, to supporting a women's right to choose, to ending ICE contracts, supporting a fair and equitable way to legalize marijuana, and also to opening the doors to all the residents of our LD and making sure that no one who was previously negatively impacted by marijuana laws will suffer anymore. And so they've been very strong in support of all of those issues, and we are very happy to endorse them. And as I say, no one's there, so we're going to go right to LD 35. No, 39. 35, yes.
35. Well, I'm pleased to announce that our members have voted to endorse the team of State Senator Nellie Pooh, Assemblywoman Shavonda Sumter, and Assemblyman Benji Wemberly. Nellie Pooh began serving in the Assembly in 1997. She broke new ground in the 35th District as a woman and as a Latina, the first Assembly members from LD 35. She moved to the Senate in 2012. Assemblywoman Shavonda Sumter has represented us well in the Assembly since 2012, and Benji Wimberly since 2011. This is an experienced slate, and we believe that they're well positioned to protect LD 25 from any rightward slide. So we're really excited to endorse them for Senate and Assembly races in 35. And I will pass the mic to Stacy for LD 39.
Stacy, you're still muted.
I can't, it just isn't. I'm clicking I'm clicking the thing. It's not like, I don't know what is going on tonight. I really don't. So I'm very proud to tell you about our endorsement of Ruth Dugan for LD 39 for State Senate, and Melinda Iannuzzi and Carlito Almeida for Assembly in LD 39. I know I saw Ruth on the, yeah, there you are. I want to make sure I give you the time to talk.
And Melinda's here as well.
And Carlito just signed in too.
Oh, perfect.
Perfect. Are you she muted? Ruth, would you like to speak first? There you go. Nope.
She's unmuting herself, we think. Oh,
Okay,
Where'd you go?
but
I
now
turned
we-
it around.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
There you go.
Hi, Ruth.
Managed.
We're
Hi.
all having problems tonight.
No, it's not unusual to have a problem. I can't thank you enough for giving us this endorsement. I have a great team that I'm running with. We have the best opportunity in 46 years to flip this district, and it has to be done. The last senator, as we now know, 46 years, passed away. I've always wondered why this district stayed like this for that long. I was district chairman and campaign manager for the first senator, Democratic senator in this district, and the last. He chose to leave and Senator Cardinelli stayed. I'm running against Holly Shapizi, which we all know what her record is. And she cannot stay in the Senate. She managed to just get into the Senate, but she can't stay there. We know she is against reproductive rights. We know she's a Trump person. We know that she has lunch with the Oath Keepers. We know who she is, and we know she's not us. So we need to change the dynamic in this district desperately. And I feel so strongly about this because I feel as if any person that can represent those values is not representing our values. And this ticket and this district, we have 2 towns with Mikey, by the way. The rest of ours are Josh. So we have great examples of opportunities to win. We have a district that won for Biden. So we have done the Congress, we've done the presidency, we have to do the local legislators now. And the reason I think for so long, other than name recognition, that it didn't happen is because nobody really understood what the legislators do. Now they look around the country and they understand voting rights, they understand gun rights, they understand reproductive rights. It's not just about your taxes, even though it's all about that too, but it's about the economy and it's about infrastructure and it's about climate change. And wait a minute, you mean they have to do something besides go to an Eagle Scout dinner? There you go, guys. We are on the front lines for every voter in this state. And I used to always say, I have a great resume, I have to admit, having not been born here and becoming a citizen at 18, and then working for Jimmy Carter and being on his stage when he accepted the nomination. So that only happens in this country. You know, and I've been on a school board and I've worked in a hospital. I've done a lot of great things. And I thought, where should I bring this experience? And after the last 4 years, there was no question where I was bringing this experience. And when I realized who the successor to Jerry Cardinelli was, I couldn't get my ballots, my petition in fast enough. I couldn't get it in fast enough. I have a lot of daughters, I have a lot of grandchildren. And the one thing I can tell you is I always believed one person could make a difference. But the 11th for Change is an army of strong women that can change the whole state. I'm so proud of all of you and the people that you have selected and honored with an endorsement that, I mean, there's no stopping you now. And again, let me just say one thing about my ticket. We are the perfect ticket. I have a great deal of experience and Melinda is a mayor and school board experiences I have, who understands what happens when it goes down to that level. And she can see what the legislature does to the municipality or for them. Sometimes it's to them, sometimes it's for them. Carlito has been working with Loretta Weinberg. You don't get better than that. You just don't. You know, he knows every piece of legislation that's passed this year. It's like having a staffer on your ticket. It's the best thing ever. And he's young and dynamic. I'll give them a chance to speak about themselves, but I just want to tell you that this is the ticket that is going to flip the 39th. So stay with us, guys, and stay tuned.
Thank you so much, Ruth. We will make sure to get Bloomingdale and Wanacue out for you, because you guys definitely are a great ticket. Who would like to speak next? Should I call on somebody? How do we do this? Melinda?
I'll go. I beat Carlito to unmuting myself, so I'll go first. And I want to thank you for your endorsement. I really am pleased, and I'm just honored to be selected by you. I think at this point in time is where I always let people know I didn't grow up in New Jersey. I grew up in the state of South Carolina. I've lived here for over 30 years, and I love the Garden State. It is my home state now. And this is where my heart is, where we live, and I love it. I've been involved in community affairs. Ruth mentioned I was on the school board for 12 years. I have been on the council, and 3 years ago, I decided to take on the incumbent two-term mayor in Demorest, which, by the way, happened to be Jerry Cardinelli's hometown. He lives, his widow lives around the corner from me, and I won decisively to be mayor. Not only am I mayor with a wonderful council made up of 6 Democrats, 4 of the 6 Democrats are women. So we have been doing a lot of good work in Demorest, and we made it through the pandemic. And I do have to give a shout out to Governor Murphy for the weekly phone calls that mayors had to keep us updated with members of his staff. It was really, I have to tell you, it was a wonderful thing to have people you could call on when you had questions. So thanks, and a shout out to the governor and his office for their help during the pandemic. We can change this district, we can flip it, and there are more registered Democrats in this district. I like to say that, you know, the independents we'll get our voters out, and if we can convince enough independents who've just gotten in the bad habit of voting for the same ticket over and over again, if we can get those voters out, we'll be able to win, because there are more D's than R's in the 39th, and we can make it a win, put it in the win column this November. Again, thank you so much for your support and for a chance to talk to you and explain to what we're all about. And I hope to see everybody again on the campaign trail or in person real soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Melinda. New Jersey, the Garden State, is very lucky to have you as a transplant. It's true. So Carlito Almeida.
Yep. Hey, how's it going, everyone? As Stacy said, my name is Carlito Almeida. I'm a first-generation Filipino-American, lifelong Democrat, lifelong resident of Mollie, and I'm running for the assembly with my amazing running mates, Ruth Dugan, Melinda Iannuzzi, trying to bring a fresh perspective to Trenton, and to make sure that we're clawing back resources back for our district back in the 39th. You know, I'm going to keep it short and quick. I'm in New Brunswick. I'm at a celebration for young journalists that are celebrating one of the very cornerstones of the society of our the very fabric of our society. And what comes with that, you know, are people who will watch government, that will bring light to issues. And, you know, one of the things that you need are legislators that are at the table, that are sounding the alarms, that are being advocates for the people. So, you know, that's what I think our team brings to the table. And, you know, that's what I'm here to do. So thank you so much for the endorsement, and, you know, hope to chat with all of you in the future. So I got to sign off, but thanks.
So thank you so much, Carlito and Melinda and Ruth. The 39th is lucky to have your commitment. It's terrific. And now for the 40th.
And
One more
last but not least, our 10th LD. We are very pleased to endorse Michael Sedon, Genevieve Allard, and Nicole McNamara, none of whom could be here tonight, I believe. There is a helicopter going overhead, I'm sorry. So hold on one second. Sorry about that. I'm in a flight path. But we're so glad to have these strong candidates who are stepping up to challenge the incumbents in LD 40. No legislative district in the state has gone longer without electing a Democrat than in the 40th. This could be the year, and I really appreciate this team's willingness to step up, and we are really glad to endorse them. So if you are in the 40th, we don't have too many towns in the 40th, but we think that Sedon, Allard, and McNamara are a great team, and we are really pleased to endorse them. So I'm going to pass it back to Leslie for the last, to wrap things up. But Leslie, you're on. Yes.
Sounds good. Well, thank you to all the candidates for being such wonderful candidates. We're grateful to those of you who took the time to respond to the NJ11 for Change questionnaire. And we're especially glad that so many of you were able to squeeze us into your busy schedules tonight. Thanks also to our active volunteer members who voted for which candidates we should endorse. We appreciate your time and your thoughtfulness. We're all so excited to have such fantastic candidates to support as we head toward November. We invite candidates to send us information about volunteering opportunities that we can then share with our members in the upcoming weeks and months. We'll be in touch with you with the details of how to do that. And we hope to see many of you participating in the educational panels that we're planning for later this summer and fall to help voters get to know you better. So we ask everyone, please bookmark our website, www.nj11.org, for more information about our endorsed candidates and the 2021 elections, to learn about our educational panels, to sign up for our action-focused newsletter, or to donate to support our work. We're looking forward to a fantastic election season. There's lots of work to be done, and we love to put boots on the ground and text bank and phone bank, so we're raring to go. Thanks to all the candidates for giving us such inspirational goals to work for. And thanks again to everyone, and have a good night.
Thank you so
Good
much,
night, everybody.
everyone. Good night. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.